This review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, is spoiler-free. Anything you see in trailers is fair game, but there will be no plotline spoilers here, so take your leaks elsewhere. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is the latest film, and it's the kickoff to Phase 5 in the MCU. It stars Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors, Kathryn Newton, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, and a bunch of other people, in addition to a small cameo by Bill Murray. But you can see the movie on February 17th in theaters. That's this Friday, so make sure to go check it out. And to start off the review here, we're going to start off with the negatives because, one, YouTube's engagement's probably going to like that, and two, because we'd like to get them out of the way before we get to all the positives of this movie. So starting off with the negatives for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. The CGI is dodgy at points. It looks like it's good, it looks like it's bad. It depends on really where you're looking in the film. Compared to the trailers, obviously, like all of these Marvel movies, if you're complaining about the CG in trailers for Marvel movies, go watch different movies, because the trailers are never going to be, you know, the full thing. You're seeing the full picture here, and so it does have some dodgy CGI, but that is not due to either them making VFX artists crunch or whatever. It's due to the technology that they use. They use the volume, which is what comes from The Mandalorian, and we used in Thor: Love and Thunder. And so it just makes everything look a little bit more fake. The backgrounds themselves and the world that it shows is beautiful, but when it's humans touching stuff that's CGI, or it's humans interacting with stuff with the backgrounds behind them, it does end up looking a little bit fabricated and fake, and it takes a little bit away from the experience, but not too much. Going on about that, Marvel really needs to just work better with VFX artists here and make them not crunch on these films, because there's tons of people that work on them. They're multi-billion-dollar franchises. Do better. Outside of that, the finale might piss a little bit of people off here that have overhyped expectations for what we're getting out of this film. This film is very much so the beginning of a saga. It's the beginning of Phase 5. And so the story does take a little bit of a hit in that regard, because it feels like it's the first part to something and not just a standalone movie. While it works as just a standalone science fiction film, like a lot of Marvel movies, you can play the game of, do I take all the Marvel stuff out and put in generic science fiction or generic whatever? Does it still work? Yes, it would work as a third part to this Ant-Man trilogy if you made it as just a generic sci-fi trilogy, but it does work somewhat well, but that does take away a bit from the experience, and particularly the ending, because it does make it feel like, hey, there's plenty more to come from this. This isn't just something you can really watch standalone. You could, but it fits into this overall story that Marvel's telling and makes you want to look forward to the future instead of just, you know, look at the film as itself. Speaking of the people that are going to hype this up way too much, Kang is powerful. Kang is amazing. He is the headliner of it, but he is not this, you know, world-destroying monster yet. We get some glimpses of it in the film. You get pieces of it, but you don't get the whole story, and that might make people feel a little cheapened by the experience, because you don't get the whole thing. But this whole phase is about Kang, so we've got to wait until Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars and all that to get everything that we want to know, but you get a little sliver of it here in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now that we've got the negatives out of the way, let's get to the positives of the film. The performances are exquisite in certain places. Paul Rudd is fantastic as Scott Lang. Kathryn Newton is fantastic as Cassie Lang. Jonathan Majors, like I said before, is Kang. He's the headliner. He's the main event. He is amazing. Michelle Pfeiffer gets to kick a little bit more ass as Janet Van Dyne here. You get a lot more about her backstory and what she did when she was in the quantum realm as well. Michael Douglas does kind of phone it in here, but for a Michael Douglas phoning it in performance, that's a lot better than a lot of other people's performances out there. So you get that. Bill Murray is in the movie, and he's a small cameo, but he is also fantastic as just basically the exposition to help get the audience to know what Janet Van Dyne did while she was in the quantum realm, especially in regards to Kang. And it's a strange performance from Murray, because we haven't had him as like this villainous, this sort of ominous figure in his career since Kingpin or something like that. So it's nice that he's gotten back to that after some goofy, you know, roles over the past couple of years, seeing him more as heroic or, you know, not a villain. But Bill Murray is great in this one. Speaking of other characters that are great that, you know, might make people a little mad, MODOK is in the movie. You can see him in the trailer. He looks a lot better in the movie. The CGI is amazing in the movie on MODOK. His backstory has changed a little bit from the comic books and from the excellent Hulu TV series, but MODOK is still really awesome, and I don't want to spoil how he fits into this whole narrative, but he is great. He looks cool when he's shooting stuff and he's battling and all of that. And he's very funny. He's a part of a lot of the funny scenes in the film. And so to transition to where a lot of people had problems with Thor Love and Thunder, with the comedy being forced and stuff like that, and more cheesy and silly, seeing as this is an Ant-Man movie, the humor is still going to be a little bit cheesy because you're watching a movie about somebody who can shrink down to a minuscule size or up to 40 feet tall. That's not really a superhero. They have a super suit. But you get some of that humor, but a lot of the humor, there's a really good payoff to a joke in Act 3. But you get a lot of it from the Lang family and the Pym family in particular here. So that's a really strong portion of the script, and the script by Jeff Loveness is one of the best that Marvel has ever had. He comes from Rick and Morty, and this feels like a Rick and Morty episode come to life. And yeah, I say that and some people might groan, but it's because of the world around. The quantum realm that they've built in this film is fantastic. It's utterly beautiful. It's breathtaking at points. And the monsters and the creatures and the beings that live there are all fleshed out and wonderful looking. It's like a million different science fiction experiences put together in one. And the influences here aren't just Star Wars. It goes back further than that. You can go to Dune. You can go to those 60s sci-fi novels, the covers and everything, and those pulp science fiction novels. And it takes a lot from that in the creature effects and the design here. And Loveness just makes a tight script. It's only about 2 hours long. It's not super, it's not 3 hours long like we had with Spider-Man No Way Home and Avengers Endgame. It's a tight movie. It gets you in, it gets you out, and you get the whole story, and it's just really, really tight all the way around, and it's a great script from Jeff Loveness. Kang is the headliner, though. He's powerful. He's just villainous. He's sympathetic at points, at least to Janet Van Dyne, and so you get a lot of that in Jonathan Majors' performance, which highlights the film. It really is just, he's on top of the world right now. Like, he's going to go kick the crap out of Michael B. Jordan in Creed 3. He was flying fighter planes in Devotion, and now he's playing the biggest bad that we've seen in Marvel. He rivals that of Thanos in just sheer power and what you can feel on the screen, and Jonathan Majors really gets how to play a villain. If you saw in their press conference for the film, he knows what it takes to make a great villain, and he does it in this film. He takes what is most precious to Scott Lang and tries to take that away from him to get him to do what he wants, and it's sublime. It really is. Jonathan Majors is, I'm so glad they got him to play Kang, and that we're getting more from Kang over this whole entire phase of the MCU, because it would crumble under its own weight without a villain to look forward to look up to, like what you want to see. And so Kang really is that villain, and he is great in this film. There's lots under the surface with him, like I said before, that we're not going to get to in this film, but we're going to get to later. So that takes away from it a little bit, but it gives you enough to sink your teeth into, to be like, wow, I really want to see more from Kang. So it leaves you with a lot of questions, but not in the bad way, in the good way where you want more and more from him. But outside of that, it's a great film. It's about family, and not in the Fast and the Furious way. It's about the Lang and the Van Dyne and the Pym family coming together. It's about Kang trying to escape the quantum realm, and then there's plenty of other great performances in the film, like William Jackson Harper and Katie M. O'Brien, two of the characters that play a role in the quantum realm sort of politics. William Jackson Harper is fantastic, and it's a little bit disappointing that he's in this role and not a bigger role in the MCU. I would have liked to see him as, I don't know, like Reed Richards or something like that. That would have been really cool. Maybe we can see him again. The Marvel multiverse is vast with plenty of possibilities, but they're great. And the creature effects are really, really inventive, and there's like a sun monster that tries to eat them. That's great. So all the politics and everything, the quantum realm is the highlight of this film, aside from Kang. And so the third act is action-packed and will just exhilarate you. Really, it's exhilarating to watch. And so I can't recommend Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania enough. I will give it a 95 out of 100. It's one of the best MCU films out there. Kang is terrifying. He's awesome. It is Marvel's quantum space opera. So go see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania on February 17th in theaters, and come back and let me know what you think of it in the comments, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps me out to figure out what you guys want to see, and it helps other people see the video so more people can watch my stuff. But thank you for watching. Let me know when you see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania what you think of it, but that'll do it for this review. And so from me and Kang and everybody else in the quantum realm to you, thank you for watching, and I will see you again real soon.